Hey guys, it's Melanie. Happy Sunday. Welcome back. I hope you're having a fantastic day, and I guess maybe more importantly, happy Mother's Day to all the mamas out there. Thank you for making the world go around. I am a mama myself, and it was not until I had a child that I realized everything I put my mom through. So believe me, I have apologized to her multiple times, and yeah, I am blessed with one little girl myself, and she has certainly changed my life in a lot of ways, and 100% of them obviously for the better. So very thankful to have this opportunity in life, and yeah, again, happy Mother's Day to all of the mamas out there, including my own. All right, you guys, so today I am going to give you some post-burn reviews of the 3 candles from the day at the Carnival Collection that were sent to me as PR. I have spent the bulk of this week burning these candles and really kind of putting them through the test. And in today's video, instead of doing each fragrance separately, I've decided to go ahead and just put all 3 of these fragrances into one video. That means it's probably going to be a little bit longer, but anyway, I hope that this is helpful. I figured instead of like dragging this out like over several videos, let's just put it all into one. I will try to remember to put timestamps in the description box right below to let you know when each individual reviews start. I don't like doing videos this way, but honestly, I think this is just going to work out a little bit better for this particular collection. Okay. So the 3 fragrances that we are discussing are the Triple Berry Pie, which is the only one that's going to be lit during this video. I also have the Berry Snow Cone, which unfortunately at this point is now sold out. And of course, the Funnel Cake, which also unfortunately is already sold out. I will put a link to where you can shop with Homeworx for this particular collection in the description box, as well as a discount code that'll save you an extra 10% off your order of $40 or more. So far, these are the only 2 fragrances that have sold out, and it's kind of a bummer because honestly, they're wonderful. Really great scents. Now, the thing that I can tell you is that I do not anticipate that we will see a restock of these. I kind of feel like for the most part, when Homeworx sells out of candles during like any given season, because they come from so far away, i.e. Vietnam, I think that Homeworx has to put these orders in pretty early on, and you kind of order what you think you're going to need. It gets prepared, it gets shipped across the ocean back here to the US, and then obviously distributed through Homeworx and the various retailers that carry these candles. But I think that also probably makes it a lot more difficult to then go back and say, hey, can we have another run of Berry Snow Cone? It did better than expected. So, you know, that's kind of the drawback here, I suppose. But, you know, I'm sure that overall, having these candles manufactured where they are is probably a benefit of some kind to the company. And I'm guessing that it is probably a cost saving measure. Like it or not, sometimes it is more expensive to have things produced here in America, and I think ultimately that is why the decision was made to ship everything elsewhere, because Homeworx actually did originally start with being manufactured here in the US. So anyway, a little bit of Homeworx history for you there if you are somewhat new to the brand. Now let's get into the thoughts on the 3 different fragrances. I have burned all of them except for the Triple Berry Pie. As you can see, I am not quite at the halfway point. I am right here. You can see that wax line there. So that one is I don't know, it's just about at the halfway point. The Funnel Cake is definitely at the halfway point, I feel like. And then the berry snow cone is actually a little bit beyond the halfway point, and I left these unlit on purpose to show you guys a few different tests that I did with these, and it's easier to show the results when they're not lit. So anyway, this one is actually right below this line right here. So let's start with the triple berry pie. I will go through the scent description, talk about strength and throw, and my overall thoughts here. Okay, so our fragrance notes on this triple berry pie are sweet blackberry, juicy blueberry, red raspberry, and homemade pie crust. Okay, what I can tell you is that to my nose, this is mostly the berry filling. I absolutely smell blackberry, I smell blueberry, and I get the red raspberry as well. I think the berry notes in here are done incredibly well. It almost comes across as like a berry compote almost. My disappointment comes in only with the fact that this is about, and this is my candle here, and to my nose, this comes across as about 80% pie filling, only about 20% crust. When I look for like a pie candle, part of my intrigue with it being a pie candle is also the crust note itself. I am a huge gourmand lover, and I think that especially if you find a candle with a nice crust note, it just kind of brings the whole candle to life in a way, especially if it is specifically meant to be a pie fragrance. Whether it's apple pie, cherry pie, blueberry pie, I love for there to be a crust note present. And I prefer it to be more 50-50, or, you know, even if it was like 60% filling, 40% crust, I just wish there was more crust to this than what is coming across to my nose. Now, there have been other people who are also ambassadors who have received this candle and said that they get a little bit more crust than I do. Things are going to vary nose to nose, and I think that that is something worth keeping in mind. Anytime you watch any review, that review is coming from the perspective of that person with their unique nose that has their own unique set of, I guess, scent receptors. I don't know what you want to call that. But we all kind of smell things just a little bit differently. And that's why I think it's kind of fun to watch different candle reviews, because it's so interesting to see what others pick up. I try to not watch or read a lot of reviews prior to filming my thoughts, because sometimes I do think that maybe you can be influenced to kind of look for certain things or smell certain things, and I just want to like come at this with like my own, you know, take from my nose. So I really like this scent, and I'm enjoying it immensely, and I hope it sticks around in the catalog. This is one of those scents that I would love to see come back, but I don't know that I would call this a pie scent per se. I mean, maybe cobbler, because I feel like cobbler sometimes is a little bit more fruit forward typically. But oh, is that like a woodpecker? Do you guys hear that? Or I really hope Alf doesn't start barking. But yeah, anyway, strength and throw. Let's go ahead and get into that. The strength and throw of this, I'm gonna put both at about a 6.5 on average. Admittedly, it was a little bit stronger for the first half of the candle, and it has waned down to about like 6.5, somewhere around there. It does way better in a hurricane. I have had this one here in the formal living room, but I've also put this in my Ellery Hurricane from Crate & Barrel. And admittedly, this one does much better in a hurricane. In general, I find that with the Homeworx, with their current way of how they're being manufactured, it just is better to have them in a hurricane. I don't think you have to spend a fortune on a hurricane. You don't have to go to Crate & Barrel. You can find hurricanes at, like, there's a really great affordable one that's like either 20 or 25 bucks at Target. I will link it down below. It has like some nice room to give you some airflow. and it has a beautiful, simple design, but it will absolutely amplify both the strength and the throw. Or like I said, Marshalls, Home Goods, TJ Maxx. I mean, all of those places have hurricanes available constantly, no matter what the season. So you can find something that is beautiful and to your liking and to your decor tastes at a lot of places like that. But I would highly recommend, if you are going to get into Homeworx, or you are currently into Homeworx candles, and you're kind of struggling a little bit with them, try them in a hurricane. I just think that it helps immensely. So overall, I'm definitely giving this one like a thumbs up because I really enjoy the scent and I want to see it stick around. But I'm not giving it 2 thumbs up because I'm missing that crust note, and I do wish that it was at least a solid like 7, 7.5 from start to finish. I feel like if I can get there with my Homeworx candles, I would be perfectly content with that. I usually burn more than 1 candle at a time anyway, so I don't necessarily need 1 candle that is a 10 out of 10 in terms of strength and throw. Is that nice? Yes. Does it have to be the right type of scent? Absolutely, because a 10 out of 10 will no doubt trigger a migraine in a lot of people, probably including me, especially if it's, you know, like a floral or something along the lines of like a mahogany teakwood style candle from Bath and Body Works. But anyway, those are my thoughts on the triple berry pie. Let us now discuss, and I'm just going to go ahead and move the without hopefully burning myself, move the funnel cake onto the pedestal. Okay, so funnel cake, let's take a look here. The wicks, by the way, are pretty much the same across the board on these candles. I did not trim these so that you guys could see what they are like post-burn. They do need to be trimmed. I have been carefully just trimming off with my cuticle scissors that little tiny nubbin at the top, and that seems to be perfect. Do not trim off any more than that, and I would not suggest using one of those old school Yankee Candle wick trimmers because they are a little bit too aggressive, and I found that they make my Homeworx wicks, which tend to be a little bit more fragile in nature, break. So especially if I just go in with a heavy hand, but I wanted you guys to be able to see the wax. This wax is still looking really great. You can see there's no sooting. None of these candles have sooted in any kind of way. This one has also been both in and out of a hurricane, and this one here I love. So of course she's sold out now, but don't you worry about that, because guess what? I think this is basically just hot cider donut or sugared beignets. It kind of smells like a baby of the 2 of those scents, but maybe leaning a little bit more so towards the hot cider donut. If you have either of those 2 scents already, I wouldn't really stress about missing out on this one. I will say the performance of this one is quite good. This one is a solid 7 in strength and throw. I do not feel like I have to put this one in a hurricane, but it does amp it up a little bit more. And as far as this scent goes, I love it. I have always loved hot cider donut. That was one of my very first scents that I picked up from Homeworx back in the day when they first launched on QVC. And I was so glad when Harry started finally bringing it back. It is delicious. Let's go ahead and read through the scent notes here on the bottom. Hopefully, oh, there we go. Oh, look at this fancy camera. All right, vanilla praline cake, golden apple, cinnamon stick, and star anise. First of all, if you are opposed to star anise, I wouldn't be too concerned about that in here. I really don't pick it up. Do I smell cinnamon? Yes. Is it red hot cinnamon? No. It's like a cinnamon sugar sprinkling. Basically the cinnamon and sugar that goes onto a funnel cake. I am aware that funnel cake can come with different toppings. Sometimes they are topped with like a fruit compote, sometimes powdered sugar. I mostly enjoy my funnel cake with the like cinnamon sugar sprinkling. So this smells exactly like a funnel cake to my nose. Do I smell anything in the way of apple? No. Do I smell anything in the way of a vanilla praline cake? No. But do I get that like donut note? Yeah, absolutely. You guys, this one is fabulous. By the way, if you have the lids that they come with are the like cheapy ones that most people absolutely hate. By the way, these are starting to disappear again. A lot of the candles that are showing up at Marshall's, Home Goods, TJ Maxx have the old school like shiny metal lids. So I do think that Homeworx meant it when they said that these were just a temporary thing. However, if you bought any of the Farm Stand Collection candles, you should save these lids because one, they're like the nice metal lids, but I love the scallop and they go so well. Like, why did they not use these lids on this collection? Like, isn't that just the most perfect, why are you not focusing? Focus. Isn't that the most perfect lid? I just think it looks so much better than the silver one. I love these scalloped lids. So I'm actually making it a point to keep at least 3 or 4 of these in my collection. I used to have all of the Homeworx lids that were like the specialty lids. And then last year I had a meltdown about clutter and I got rid of all of them. Kind of regret that because there were some cool lids, but I am going to keep just a few of these because I think they look so much better with especially these collections. This one here is Rockstar Performance. Of course, it's sold out, but I'm really pleased with this one and I enjoy it. And I think if you have hot cider donut or you have sugared beignets, I don't think you should be too terribly upset that you missed out on this one because it's sold out. Enjoy those other ones and you are going to be just fine. Now let's talk about Berry Snow Cone. I put this one through the ringer, you guys. Yesterday I had this one lit for 7 hours. I never ever do that with my Homeworx. I limit them to about 3.5 hours max. You guys, this one, I am so impressed with how good this looks, despite the fact that I burned it way past like any amount of time that I ever should have had this lit. You can see a little bit of discoloration in the wax, and that is from the wick residue dropping into the wax. These wicks were really, they were doing quite well. Are they still a little bit more fragile? Yes. But did they lean over? No. Is there sooting that happened? No, not at all. Like just, wow. Okay. So that was a bad example. Like there's no discoloration at all, except for just this little bit that's floating on the top of the wax. This is another one that did incredibly well for me. The strength and the throw of this one, I haven't even talked about the fragrance, we'll get there, but the strength and the throw of this was almost a 7 as well in terms of strength. And the throw, I would put that at more of like a 6.5. Definitely did better in the Hurricane. I had this one in the Ellery Hurricane as well. And oh my gosh, this one is really delicious, you guys. I really need Harry to keep this one around, but let's talk about the fragrance notes while we're here. Red berries, bubbly citrus, juicy red apple, and shaved sugared ice. Is this a very sweet scent? Yes, absolutely. The red berries that I'm getting here are, it's definitely like a candied strawberry raspberry concoction. It's really delicious and fruity, you guys. In terms of the citrus, what I get here, sorry, I'm just gonna set it down because you might want to have something to look at, I guess. In terms of the citrus that I'm getting here, it is a highly sugared lemon citrus that I'm getting. And it's the lemon juice, not the zest. It's very sweet, almost like lemonade-like, and I love it, you guys. This is such a great scent. If this one here were like an 8 out of 10, I would say that this would be something that I would purchase like multiple backups of. It's so incredibly good. And I'm actually kind of sad that I can't, because I have no business doing this. I am whittling my stash down, but I almost kind of regret not ordering multiples of this one. It is really good. I have loved the performance. I am really impressed with how well it did after 7 hours. Now, overall, do I think that the entire collection is a good one? I do. I actually much prefer this release over the Nostalgic Treats. I really was not impressed with any of those candles with the exception of the Red Fruit Punch. The rest of them just, one, did not speak to my fragrance tastes really. And I also think that they were just really heavy in certain notes in terms of the lime slushy. Like that smelled basically just like lime zest to me. And then the banana one, like Harry normally does banana incredibly well. And that one, I don't know what went wrong with that, but the banana is just not enjoyable. And then I didn't pick up root beer because I'm not a fan of root beer just in general. I know there was also like a chocolate chip mint. I am not a mint person. So there's that. But this collection here it speaks to me so much more than the other one did. And I'm really pleased with the performance overall. Do I wish that the triple berry pie had some pie crust? Yeah, but in its own right, just as it is right now, it is still enjoyable. So there's no regrets there at all. But yeah, anyway. Also, I don't think that I mentioned this in the beginning of the video, so I will mention it here. I did not pay for these 3 candles. These were sent as PR. I am an ambassador for Home Goods, so that does mean that they periodically will send us a few things here and there. But that being said, they don't give us like a script or tell us like that we have to love the candle or tell you that we love them, because I mean, obviously they don't, because I have said in the past that I don't care for certain scents and that the performance on certain candles is abysmal in some cases. And Homeworx has never said anything to me. So they really do, I think, want honest reviews. I just think they would probably prefer that people are not like overly nasty about it. You know, obviously everyone has their own approach. I think it's much more helpful for the brand if you are constructive with your feedback, and that's what I try to do. You know, I will even email my contact at the company if something is like horribly wrong with a candle and just be like, hey, heads up, like this thing is either completely unscented or something's going on here. And, you know, they take the feedback. Like no one has ever said, don't tell us that, or we don't want to hear that. Like that's just, it's not a thing. Do I wish that they would move a lot faster in making the changes that they need to make? Yeah, hands down. And I do think that at this point, Harry has acknowledged that via his Instagram, with especially one specific post where he mentioned, you know, putting in more fragrance oils. So yeah, I don't know. I still have hope, but I also completely respect and understand those of you that have decided to take a break from Homeworx. I completely get it. I will continue to review them because one, I can write off whatever I buy to review here on my channel. So that helps me justify it. But also I'm rooting for this brand. I really am. You know, Harry makes some incredible concoctions. You know, I think there's definitely problems in the manufacturing of the concoctions, but the fragrances themselves are usually fantastic for the most part. But yeah, anyway, those are my thoughts of the 3 candles that I did receive. Again, I will be linking Homeworx and This Day at the Carnival Collection down below. Check them out if you're interested. And I hope that this video was helpful. Please give it a thumbs up if you found it helpful, and subscribe if you're new. And I will see you guys for some more candle reviews coming up this next week. Take care. Toodaloo.